The story of Saint Maximilian is incredibly well known, made a saint by Pope John Paul II. And if you want to know about him in more detail, visit the Marytown Monastery. And they have a beautiful national shrine to him and a walk-through display explaining everything about his life. One thing that doesn't get much attention was that this man was a genius. He was an incredibly intelligent man, an engineer, astrophysics, and he has a brilliant mind. But even more so, he had a very deep faith. He obviously volunteered to save a man's life because one person was missing from the prison cell in Auschwitz, and later on they found him, he had drowned in the latrines or whatever they used then, a swampy thing, and so 10 men were chosen and put into a starvation block in the prison camp, which was very horrific, that they were just put in there and left there without food and water to die. Maximilian volunteered to go in there instead of a young man who had a wife and children. Actually, he was at his beatification as well. But the thing that was amazing about this is that if you can imagine a train track, 2 rails, he was a human being like everybody else. Even Jesus was brought to his knees when he knew he was going to suffer and die in the garden on the cross. So the 2 kind of rails that run parallel to each other are trust and fear. You can do the right thing, even though you are terrified of the consequences of it. So doing the right thing is never, we're not blocks of ice, we're human beings. And we can be terrified and do the right thing. So by being afraid is not, it's not an insult to anyone. It's natural that we want to preserve our life, that we want to live, that we don't want to suffer. And fear is a natural consequence of that. But what is most important still was St. Maximilian's trust in God's love. His trust that in the resurrection from the dead. And while he was there with the other 9 people being starved to death, he ministered to them. And even at times he tried to lead them in singing hymns of joy. So he was a priest to the very end. And but he was afraid, as everybody would be, but he still trusted in God, and that was what defined him more than anything else. So as we journey through life, and every decision that we make, and a lot of decisions or issues we find ourselves in, there can be fear, but there should also be trust. And the ultimate defining one at the end is always that trust in God at all times.
Thank you for joining us today. Our digital ministry provides a valuable service to parishioners and visitors alike. How wonderful that we can share God's Word, the celebration of the Eucharist, and other important words and events with those who may not be able to be with us in person. If you would like to support this effort, please go to olphglenview.org. Click on the gold donate button and then the Sunday giving icon to make a contribution on our secure online giving portal. We sincerely appreciate your past and ongoing support. Thank you for helping us continue this ministry. God bless.